Okay, I want to ask questions that people will want to know. Well, basically, who you are. For people that don't know who you are yet, I think that's really, really important. So I want to find it from you. Where did boxing start?
Where did boxing start? Sure. Oh, Hayden, I've always been an active individual. As growing up, I did like every sport I could do. I was always active playing outside. As a teenager, I played a lot of tennis. Like thought I would go to college in the States and play tennis there, but decided, no, it's not for me. But I always had this need to like fight, and my dad wasn't so keen on letting me do anything like karate or anything that I kind of suggested. So then when I was about 17 or 18, my brother took me to a boxercise gym and started hitting the bag and just messing around. And yeah, I just went there on and off. And when I was 22, I went to Brixton or Huguenot, the boxing club near my house, and turned amateur. And yeah, that's where it started. And it was really just the desire to be better at boxing and that's still the desire that's kept me in love with the sport, constant problem solving. Yeah.
So what was it about tennis that you didn't like? Were you going to be a bit of like a McEnroe, one of those people that just got frustrated with the game? What happened with tennis?
Sure. Yeah, definitely. I think I was way too much of a perfectionist. Way too much. So I didn't deal well with what you call in tennis unforced errors. So like hitting the ball out, hitting the ball into the net.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would be very, very hard on myself. So, at the end of the day, I think I kind of destroyed myself when I played tennis, So what's lacking about boxing is you can always hit the bag harder. You can always hit someone harder. It's kind of hard to make that kind of a mistake, So I think that's where the difference kind of is. Yeah.
Yeah, I think boxing as well. I mean, as you said, you can hit the bag hard, but it's all you. There's no unforced errors. I mean, if you make a mistake, it's literally your error. It's a human error. And I think that, a lot of the team sports as well, like if you're playing a team sport, one of your teammates could mess up. And I mean, individual sports, it's all on you.
Yes, 100%. That's true. I can't say that I've played too many team sports. I played a bit of soccer, and that was really fun. Not as fun as boxing, though. And you're right. The onus is on yourself to take care of business. But also, when I turned pro, you get to choose your team. You don't get told what to do by the coaches of whatever organization you are in. Mm-hmm. Whether they're right or wrong, I've had some great coaches, but I like the control that I have over things. I feel that I've put a pretty solid team together, and I trust what they tell me to do, and I have the option to be able to choose that team.
Before I go, I want to talk about the choosing team. I think it's a very, very good point you make. There's not like you get drafted or anything like that. You literally get to choose your own team. So whatever choices you make, you kind of got to run with. But I'm going to get to that a bit later. Right now, I want to go back to your amateurs. You were an amateur champion, weren't you?
Yes, yeah, I was. 2 times.
2-time SA champion. How did you, as a whole, I mean, what was your amateur record and how did you feel it went for you?
Oh my goodness, Hayden. I don't really know what my amateur record was. I think I lost 3 fights. Had many walkovers. The total amount of times that I actually stepped into the ring, let's say I had roughly 15 fights on my record. And the amount of times that I stepped into the ring, sure, if I had to quickly try, I think maybe half of those fights I actually got into the ring, if that many,
That's so disappointing.
So my amateur career, sure, I don't feel like I got a lot of experience from those fights. I mean, the experience, look, I don't have a lot of pro fights, but I've had a lot of sparring. a lot of
Hmm.
sparring since turning pro. Yeah, I only really started to learn more about boxing when I turned pro. Because, you know, there weren't many opportunities in the amateurs, not a lot of other girls boxing, unfortunately. So you'd go to your Joburg championships, walkover. Gauteng champs, walkover. 1 year I had a fight, but I fought way above my weight division. And then SA champs, you'll have one fight. 1 year I was lucky and I had 2 fights. Then you go to like the zone 4, and it's like, you know, a splash of cold water or punch in the face, because other countries have more groundwork and you feel it in terms of their
Hmm.
females. They've got more experience, they've got a better framework for developing boxing from the ground up. You know, they've definitely got like some long-term athlete development stuff going, whereas we don't. And I felt the gap. Yeah, yeah.
I was invited onto a chat show in the UK the other day, and they were asking me about female boxing, and I was
Hey, Mark.
kind of like I'm kind of like, look, South Africa's female boxing scene is not a big boxing scene, and I know Hedda, I know a couple of other girls, but it's not like, you know, like in the UK where they actually know their athletes, and I mean that must be a little bit disappointing to you as well.
Yeah, man, it really is disappointing. Oh, so disappointing, Hayden. Like, you know, like I'm a professional athlete. I live and I breathe boxing. Doesn't pay my bills, but it is the number one thing in my life. I train twice a day. All my training is focused towards being a better boxer. But, you know, I feel like myself and all the other female boxers in this country are not getting opportunities to showcase our skills, because, yes, you may not know many other females, but there's some pretty damn good talent in this country, and we need opportunities to showcase our talent, you know,
Hmm.
which
Well,
we're
I
not
think,
getting.
yeah, well, I think at least in like um, with Colin Nathan's gym, I think you would have possibly the best opportunities to get fights. But have you ever thought about, okay, you know what, I'm not getting fights in South Africa, maybe a move overseas for me might be a thing?
Look, it's crossed my mind, but I won't do that. Um, I have too much here. You know, my work is here. My career in my line of work is here. I'm not going to give that up. It's not a smart move. Um, I trust Colin, you know, to take me to where I need to go. So
Mm.
I also don't want to be coached by anybody else or managed by anybody else. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I remember sitting and doing the post-fight interview straight after the fight. You won the SA title, and it was like such a big thing. But we haven't seen you back in the ring since that. I mean, that's so like that is I can't explain to you. You must feel it way worse than I do, because I'm just sitting here wanting to do the interviews with you. But we're sitting here again, and then all of a sudden COVID comes, and we're approaching, as per usual, Women's Month, which you usually guaranteed to get fights anyway, and you're not going to get them.
I hate
Not
Women's
every.
Month.
Pardon?
I hate Women's Month.
It's bullshit that it has to be just Women's Month that only look at boxing as well.
Can I tell you what I think about Women's Month, Hayden?
You tell me.
Okay. So imagine, like, you're not a nice person, okay, and you treat your girlfriend like shit excuse my language, every single day of the year, but on Valentine's Day you buy her flowers, and that makes everything okay. That is what Women's Month is. Like, we get forgotten about for the whole year, and then all of a sudden Women's Month, oh, praise be. It's not okay, man. It's really sexist.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you're having on tournaments, right? I know some promoters like flat out will just say we don't want women's boxing on our card. It was also another bullshit thing. I think you can be a pioneer, if I'm not mistaken, for that movement. I mean, you are literally undefeated. You are upcoming. You're on the cusp of international boxing. You're literally a couple of fights away from making a serious name for yourself. Would you agree with me?
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Hayden. All I need is the opportunity. Like, just, you know, give me the platform, you know, to showcase my skills. Give me the opportunity. And, yeah, I can just, like, if I have a voice that is heard by more because of where I am in boxing, then I could definitely use that to make change.
Here's a question about female boxing that I think is an interesting question for you. 2-minute rounds, 3-minute rounds. Would you want that to be changed?
Yeah and no. Look, okay, that's a tough question. So a 2-minute round versus a 3-minute round is such an entirely different ball game. Like a 2-minute round, you get more work done. The way that you use your energy systems is completely different, which one dominates, versus a 3-minute round. So I'm not against it, and I'm not for it. I wouldn't mind it if it had to change. But if you wanted to level the playing field in boxing and have the same amount of minutes in the rounds as the men do, then cool, go for it. It's I don't have an issue with that length of time. I mean, I spar 3-minute rounds, and it would really take away the admin of now, close to the fight, having to change it to 2 minutes just to get used to that higher pace,
Yeah, I think as well. You're, as you said before, you're a professional athlete. You literally go through all the stuff that international female boxers do. I mean, you're not like most of the South African female boxers who you look at them, they'll be like a lot shorter than you because they don't actually look after themselves in terms of like physique and so forth. You come in there like a professional boxer. I think having to adjust to a 2-minute round could actually be to your detriment.
Yeah, I don't know, maybe, Hayden.
Because you have to now blow out, or like you have to like fire all cylinders on all cylinders.
Yeah, but you need to take that account in your training camp. So you need to train for your specific fight, which is 2 minutes. So, don't spar for 3 minutes all the way up until your fight. Change it up at some point so that you are ready for that. You know what I mean? And another thing, how certain female boxers look in this country, it's not their fault if there are not enough opportunities for us to keep on training. I'm fortunate that I can arrange my work around my, boxing. Not everyone is that lucky, I think there's a lot of us out there who work 9-to-5 jobs. So then when do you get the time to train? Maybe you're also raising a family. There's a lot of factors to consider.
When you consider your game now, would you say having time is a good thing? I'm not saying having time like one fight a year. That we know is unacceptable. But having time to hone your skills, do you believe? How much better do you think you've got since you've A, become a professional, and 2, become an SA champion?
Sure, I feel I've gotten significantly better. Like if I had to watch my first fight and watch my last fight, I've improved. And I should hope that I improve with the amount of effort that I put in. But there's always stuff to work on all the time. So the work never, ever stops, It just changes.
I'm gonna ask you. Oh, you just flipped your camera by mistake. I'm gonna ask a silly question because I know the answer to the question. What's your favorite punch?
What's my favorite punch? Oh, straight left.
I know it all too often.
Ask Rainer.
Yeah, Rainer would know. He's been hit with it a few times. So have I, actually. I mean, when I was at amateurs, you used to help out, and sometimes you'd get in the ring and spar with us. And I think I've felt a few of them cracks right on my nose, and it's one of the most unpleasant feelings I've ever had in a boxing ring. I mean, I don't even think I've had an amateur fight that's like that hits as hard as you. So that's a compliment to you. And we're in the same weight division. Well, at least not me now, but let's put it this way: when I was still boxing. So that's big credit to you.
Yeah.
Your power is absolutely insane. And that leads me to my next question: is points or knockouts? What's your go-to? What do you prefer?
Oh man, like I haven't had a knockout in a while, and it feels like it's because I want it so bad. So, now I've just decided I'll go for points, and if the knockout happens, great. But for me now, at this point in my career, like I want those rounds. I want those rounds in the ring because I'm not getting them. So I want to be able to box for 10 rounds and maintain a good pace and a high work rate, and if the knockout comes, it comes. But everybody loves that knockout punch.
Definitely, I 100% agree. When you get into the boxing gym when you get into the gym, at least just spar, when you're at Hotbox, you sparring predominantly males. I think it's very rare that a female actually gets in the ring, which I think you would enjoy. Obviously, competing against another female in the sparring, or is it okay just to spar the guys?
Look, it is lucky that I get such awesome sparring at Hotbox. But to be perfectly honest with you, like if you are sparring a guy like who's better than you, and they have you on the ropes, they're not going to unleash on you like they would on another guy, you know. Well, I haven't really experienced that, so they give you that second of leeway, which sparring against another girl you wouldn't get that. That's the only thing. But having said that, you know, it just like forces me to work harder in the ring and get more respect and you know, get more of what I give in sparring. So would I change it? Not really. Like if it happens, it happens, and if it doesn't, that's also fine, you know.
Well, outside of your
Yeah.
coaches, I mean, you're in a gym with phenomenal boxers. I mean, you even got two of the best coaches in the country as well, Colin Nathan, with him sort of a couple of world champions and ex-world champions hanging around. Out of all of the I'm not talking about the coaches, the boxers now, which one gives you the most advice, and which one do you think you can take the most from?
Sure, there's several. So, like Rainer, who's very talkative over here, he gives me a lot of tips, you know. Yeah, and like, you know, he's a guy who's very experienced and loves to hit hard, and I also like that. So the way that he gives me advice is always like to really do damage. And then, you know, other guys like Azinga, I'll go chat to him after we spar and I'll be like, look, man, like, how did you do this? What was your thinking behind it? And then we'll get talking. And I can pretty much do that with anybody in the gym. So Haki Butler gives me advice from the side. Yeah, they're just a great bunch of guys, and they're always helping me improve. Even if they see me like on the bag doing something, they'll come and say like, look, you know, this is what you're doing. Just think about it. You know, maybe this option is better, or like add this in. That's lacquer. You are strong like this. Everything is very positive all the time.
How's it? Colin Nathan, who's just joined the chat as well, your coach is in the house, so to speak. In South Africa, is there anyone? I know your division's a little bit thin, if I'm not mistaken. Like you've already fought, I think, most of the girls in your division. Is there anyone that you'd like to fight in the country? I don't know if you would want to change a weight division, or they could change their weight division. But is there any names that you can think of?
No one here. No one here. I think I've fought everyone in my weight division. I wouldn't want to change my weight division. I'm strong in my weight division, and it's not hard for me to make the weight. Yeah, man, I wanna see what else is out there outside of the country.
Yeah, definitely. I think you're 5-0, right? 5-0.
5-0, yeah.
5-0 as a professional, and I think, as you said, it's time to go travel, see what's out there. I'm pretty sure that's how you're really going to know how good you are, because I suppose cleaning up locally is a starting point for everyone. Everyone wants to be the best in their country, but in their weight division, and then you want to be known as the best in your country, in the country, for all weight divisions at some points. And the only way to do that is to go on the road. I mean, that would be exciting for you. And then here's one, right? Here's one, right? So I've seen a lot of good female athletes coming out of the UK, the USA. I think Katie Taylor from the UK and Clarissa Shields from the USA. They're the two biggest names in the sports currently. There's a couple of the other ones that are a bit older, but they sort of losing now towards the end. The two current ones are the undefeated ones. Out of those two boxers, which one do you think is better?
What, Clarissa Shields and Katie Taylor?
Yeah. Who would be your favorite out of those two?
Well, they two completely different weight divisions, but you know, I enjoy Katie Taylor's style more. You know, like Clarissa Shields is very she's very like technical and accurate and stuff and sharp, but to me Katie Taylor is just more explosive. Like she comes in with like big combos that do damage, and then she moves and she's quick. So I enjoy her style more, but Clarissa Shields is an amazing boxer.
Yeah, so Katie Taylor's a huge name, and then she was supposed to fight Amanda Serrano. That fight never happened. Serrano couldn't make it to the fight. So now Katie Taylor has, obviously the whole Corona thing, I think, had affected that. But Katie Taylor got a replacement opponent against the girl she last fought, which is a rematch. But what a way that would have put females boxing on the map to have Taylor against Serrano.
That would have been massive. Like female boxing is at a point where you can put big fights together. Like, you know, fights that can build hype. Like Katie Taylor versus Serrano, sure. That would have been huge. Katie Taylor versus Michaela Mayer, huge. Clarissa Shields versus Cecilia Breckhouse, huge. You know, these are things like we talk about. Who do you want to see fight who? There are a couple of like combinations that you can put together with women's boxing at the moment, and that is great.
And in terms of South Africa, do you see any of those girls mixing it up there? Currently, we got Noni Tenge. I think she's 21-1. She's got a very good record. So I think
I don't know how active she's been lately, so I can't really answer that. But I know there are some other female boxers in the country. I don't know all of their names, but I know Bukiwe Nonina. She's been quite active. And there are a couple of others, you know. But like I said, it comes down to us getting opportunities to get there. We need like support, you know.
Hedda, I know you're very humble, but do you want to be amongst the nominees for this year's awards, in the boxing awards?
Oh, if it happens, it happens, and if it doesn't, it doesn't. Hate it.
I think you do, though. I think you do an award, though. I don't know how you feel about it. Obviously, as I said, you don't like to talk art, so you're not a big talker with regards to yourself in that. But
I'll be honest with you, Hayden. I'll be honest with you. Like, this is how I feel about my last fight. I trained for 10 rounds. I was ready for 10. The chick, she quit on her stool. And that sucked for me, you know. So, yeah, doesn't feel great. So I feel like I have the title, but I don't have a war to show for it, you know. Not even like a knockdown, really. But maybe that's like very pessimistic. I don't know. I'm very hard on myself, so yeah.
There's the perfectionist. The perfectionist in you wanted it to go according to plan. Well, I mean,
sorry.
And I said the perfectionist in you, it didn't go according to plan for you. You wanted to deliver the knockout blow, surely, on that occasion.
Yeah. When on point, whatever. Like, just not, you know. Yeah.
Colin wants to ask a question. I can see he's loading. He's loading. He says, "Hey, Hayden, let's see." Colin, please type fast. Here's a question. Okay, we're waiting. Noma Kanjani. Let's see what he's got. Would you spot? I have spotted Hedda. Obviously, Hedda took it really easy on me. I've spotted Hedda, but she took it really easy. I've stepped on fiery coals before, Colin. I know what it's like to dance, but
Hayden, I'm sure I've even, you know, caught the mitts for you before, hey?
Yeah. Oh, lots of times. Actually, lots of times, because we both at Boyson's gym and at Rena's gym as well. You've been a really good person to me and given me advice at all different stages. Both yourself and Sean, actually. You know, a big thank you to both of you for helping out with my amateur career, and it went well for the short period of time that I was in the amateurs. I think I only competed for 1 year, but I did myself a little bit proud, and thank you very much for all the help. I really appreciate it. Colin saying everyone.
Oh man, it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. But I don't think your boxing career is done. I really think that we could whip you back into boxing shape quick.
The bad connection's my side.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Hedda, while I've got you here, while the connection's on a good path, do you want to leave a message for the boxing fans out there? What would your message be to them?
So, like, please support boxing and continue to do so, and also support especially women in boxing in this country and internationally. I mean, there's some really great fights to watch, and stay fit and healthy during lockdown. It's important.